डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन युनिव्हर्सिटी.
Namaskar dear students and learner of this course. I am Professor Kamesh Rawal. I welcomes you in the video lecture series of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. We were discussing a subject called Computer Fundamental and Information Technology. After discussing a block number 1, we have started a discussion on a block number 2. In the block number 2, mainly two units, unit number 1 and unit number 2, in which a primary memory and secondary storage we have discussed. Now we will start a discussion on a unit number 3. In the unit number 3, basically we are trying to focusing on a different type of input devices. So let us start our today's session. Here in the unit number 3, all different type of input devices we will discuss. So as you know, we have in a unit number 1 we have discussed that what actually the computer system is. So in that case we have defined our computer is a data processor, right? So what it will do is our system, our computer will be treated as a data processor. What it will take the data from the user. Okay, computer system will take the data from the user. The system will process that data and then the information will be produced, and that information will be given to the user by the system. Now here there are two things are there. How the computer system will take the data? So obviously here there are multiple devices can be used, right? User can give the data by using any device, and all these devices are known as input devices, right? So all those devices which is used to feed the data into the computer system, they are called input devices. So here you can understand that how you can give your data to the computer system. Obviously by using a keyboard, by using a mouse, right? So these are the main two things, but still there are few more things are there, few more devices are there. By using that we are providing a data to the computer. Okay, so that is called an input device. Now when the output will be produced, the information will be after processing the data, the system will produce what? Information. So how the information system can give to the user? So here there are several output devices are there, right? So in the another session we will discuss what are the different output devices are there. So we know that we can show the information to the user on the screen. So let's suppose we will talk about a monitor. So monitor is what? It's output device. Okay, some information is there, we want to take a printout of it. Then printer, what is printer? It's called output devices. So here see, by using input device, user can input the data. That data will be inputted into the system. System will process that data. It will produce the information, and that information will be given to the user again back by using output devices. And that's why to understand input devices and output devices is quite important. Here in this particular, in our today's session, we will try to focus on mainly two type of input device. One is called a keyboard and second is a pointing devices. Fine. So let us start with a keyboard. Okay. So how many different type of input devices are there? First, input device, right? So devices used to input the data or command to the computer system is called input device, right? So for example, if you are talking about keyboard, so with the help of keyboard you can do both the thing, right? You have some shortcut key, and if you are pressing the shortcut key, you are giving some command. Suppose you are working with the Word, Microsoft Word, and you want to type your resume. So in that case you are typing your resume it will be a data. So we can say the keyboard or mouse can be used to input data and command. Okay. Now, the first input is what? Input device, it's called keyboard, right? Most popular. I think when I have given the name, today we will discuss input devices. Most of the student has the keyboard is there in the mind, right? Okay, the another input device is what? It's called a pointing devices. Now different type of pointing devices are there, like mouse, trackball, joystick, light pen, touch screen. In the suppose if you are talking about your mobile phone, if you have a smart mobile phone, then how you can type the message? Obviously by using a touch screen, right? So touch screen, that is again a kind of input device. Then few more different other devices are there, which is also known as a scanning devices. So I think you people are already aware with the scanner. Scanner where you have the document, and if you want to input that entire document into your computer or laptop, you need to use a scanner. Sometimes when you go into the supermarket, at that time every product will have some barcode, and the person who is actually making or generating the billing, that person is having one small gun, right? It is called a barcode reader, and with the help of barcode reader, which product you have purchased or what are the price of that particular product, that will be automatically recognized, right? So this type of devices like optical scanner, barcode reader, they are again input devices. Let if you talk about a cameras. So cameras are what? They are input device, right? Here you are recording the video. So through the camera, the data, the movement of the object will be recorded and it will go as an input into the computer system. Mic, right? So if you want to record the sound, not the object's movement, in that case what you need to do is you need to use a mic, right? So this all different type of devices are there which we can consider as a input devices. So mainly keyboard, pointing devices like mouse, trackball, joystick, light pen, touch screen. Scanning devices like optical scanner or barcode reader, they are the input devices. Camera, mic, all the devices are input devices. Okay, now let us start discussing a keyboard, right? So one of the general and most common way to input the data is by a keyboard, right? So if you want to enter any kind of data, obviously we need to use a keyboard. The keyboard will convert or translate number, letter, special characters that people understand into the electrical signals, right? So if you type anything, any character, let's suppose if you type A or B or C, so depending upon which key you have pressed, depending upon which character you have pressed on the keyboard, right, that characters, spatial signals, binary signals, electrical signals will be produced or generated by the keyboard, and that signals will be forwarded to the computer system. Okay, these electrical signals are sent to and processed by the system unit. So obviously the keyboard will send this signal and the signals will be processed by our system. There are wide variety of different keyboard designs, right? So multiple different type of keyboards are available in the market. How many type of keyboards are there? So different type of keyboards like mechanical keyboard, membrane keyboard, capacitive keyboard and Hall effect keyboard. So these are the different type of keyboards are there. Now see, we will not go into the detail of what actually the different type of keyboards are there, because it is just you can gain the knowledge about this different type of keyboards by just reading, and in your book nicely I have described the different type of keyboards, right? So you just go through it and you will come to know what are the differences there between this different type of keyboards. Okay, but you should know the different type of keyboard. So mechanical keyboard, membrane keyboard, capacitive and Hall effect keyboard. Okay, now how the keyboard is functioning, right? So obviously we know that if you want to type any particular character, we need to press the particular key on which that character is written, right? After pressing the key, what happened actually inside the keyboard, right? So we are now trying to focus on that thing. The key is pressed on the keyboard, that is the first thing. Second thing, the scan code sent by the keyboard controller for the key to the keyboard buffer. So you know, in the system there will be one buffer, one memory is there, right, and which will record which key you have pressed, okay, and that is called a keyboard buffer. So whenever you are pressing the key, the signals will be goes to that keyboard buffer. The interrupt request sent by the keyboard to the buffer to the keyboard buffer to the system. Now whenever you are pressing the key, obviously which key you have pressed, its signals will be stored into the buffer, and now buffer will send an interrupt signal to the system. Obviously at that time, you know, the CPU is functioning some other work. So how the system will come to know somebody has pressed the key? So here, you know, whenever you are pressing the key, the signal will be stored into the keyboard buffer, and now the keyboard buffer will interrupt to the CPU that user has pressed this particular key, and then the CPU will come to know, yes, this particular key is pressed, so what to do, right? That CPU will decide. System software, your operating system, right, then respond to the interrupt by reading scan code, okay. So here your operating system will react based on which key you have pressed, right. Then the system software passes the scan code to the CPU. So basically what happened, whenever you are pressing the key, the signal will be stored into the keyboard buffer will generate the interrupt signal will be recognized by your system software or operating system, yeah, right. Here you can understand system software is nothing, is a driver of the keyboard or your operating system, and based on which key you have pressed, the operating system will now send an interrupt signal to the CPU. So CPU, whatever work is right now doing, it will be suspended time being, and now the CPU will try to understand which type of key you have pressed, and now which action has to be performed by the CPU, right. So this is what how the keyboard is working. One more IBM keyboard, enhanced keyboard is there, and you know here the you know, it's actually older version. Nowadays many companies are actually producing this type of keyboard. IBM was actually the first company in that keyboard. You know, there are different type of keys are there. In fact, nowadays we are getting all the keys in all different type of keyboards, right. Whether you are taking the keyboard of TVSE Gold or you know any other like Lenovo's keyboard or Dell's keyboard, in every keyboard you will get the same type of key. Now what different type of keys are there? First is called alphanumeric keys. Alphanumeric, alphabets plus numeric, means A to Z and 0 to 9, right. So that type of keys are there. Modifier keys, so shift, alter, control, this type of keys are known as a modifier keys. Numerical keypad, so you know at the right hand side of the keyboard what you have is you have a special numerical keypad is there, right, in which several symbols are there, plus, minus, multiplication, division. Along with that you have 0 to 9 and plus one num lock is there. You know, num lock is a toggle key. If you press it, your num locks will be on and you can operate it. If you are pressing a num lock again, then your this number keypad will becomes turn off, and afterwards if you are pressing any of the key, you know, the no effect will be there on the system. So one time if you are pressing, your num keypad will activated. Again if you are pressing, then your num keypad will be deactivated, right. So, on and off. So, it is called a toggle button. Now, see, most of the recent keyboard will have a different type of function keys, right. So, on the top of the keyboard you will get 12 function keys, right. So, F1, F2, F3 up to F12. In most of the software or operating systems like Windows and Unix, Ubuntu, F1 key is basically used for the help, right. So, whenever you need a help, you need to press F1 key, and the help of that particular software gets open. Okay. Then what we have is at the right hand side, at bottom you will get 4 keys, right, that is up, down, right and left. So, this is called cursor movement key, right. 4 keys are there, and by using that key you can go in a up direction, in a down direction, in a right direction and in a left direction. Some special keys are there, for example escape. If you want to take a screenshot of your screen, computer or laptop, you have a special button called print screen, right. Suppose if you want to take a screenshot, what you need to do is you just need to take a print screen button, and then you go to the paintbrush, you open the paintbrush and then press Ctrl V. So, your screenshot gets copied into the paintbrush, then you just save it as a JPG or PNG, right, whatever format you like. So, escape, print screen, pause, insert, delete, scroll, lock, this type of buttons are there, which is called a special purpose keys. Okay. So, after discussing a lot of things about the keyboard, now we will start discussing on our pointing devices. So, pointing devices provide an interface with the system using by accepting pointing gesture and converting them into a machine readable input. So, you can easily understand this type of pointing devices if you are considering mouse into your mind, right. So, whenever you are moving your mouse, several signals will be transmitted from your mouse to the system, okay, and based on your mouse movement, one pointing gesture you will get it on the screen, right. There are wide variety of different pointing devices including mouse, joystick, touch screen and light pen. So, these are the different type of pointing devices. First device, right, which mostly we are using is called a mouse. Here I have shown a photograph of the mouse, right, at the right hand side. In early 1980s, when the personal computer was introduced, it was having only a keyboard as a main input device, right. Mouse was not invented actually at that time. The pointing device was not much required on those days, right. Basically, at this time during this 1980s, most of the people are working with the DOS, right. It is a disk operating system. So, that is it is not a GUI, it is not supports a graphical user interface, right. So, there will be a blank screen is there, and you just need to type the command if you want to do any kind of work with the computer system. But nowadays what we are doing is we are using a GUI based operating systems, where everything is there, every command is there on the screen in the form of small GUI based icon. You can see your desktop, there are several icons are there. You can see one start button icon is there, right. If you click on that start button, then the start menu gets open. So, nowadays we are using a GUI based system, and in this GUI based system the mouse provides much more conveniency. Okay. However, the requirement of the mouse was not realized as a new software came in. Today the mouse becomes an integral part of the computer system, because nowadays obviously nobody is working with the DOS, everybody is installing a Windows or Linux or Ubuntu kind of system, which is a fully GUI based, and to operate this type of GUI based system smoothly, you need a mouse, right. So, today mouse will becomes a integrated part of the computer system. Basically, if we'll talk about the mouse, so the mouse will have 4 buttons: left button, right button, then roller button. Sometimes instead of that roller ball, you will get another button, center button, for the scrolling purpose, and the fourth part of the mouse is a mouse cable. Left button, if you want to execute any command, right? Now the command can be given into 2 different type. Sometimes you can, if suppose on the desktop you have a file, if you want to select the file, what you need to do is you just need to single click, okay. But suppose if you want to open that file, then you need to do double click, right? So left button can be used as a single click and double click. Right button, if you want to open a shortcut menu, right? Suppose if you want to access the property of some file, so what you need to do is you just need to select the file by doing a single left click, then you do the right click, and then you have a small pop-up menu appear, and in that you find a property menu, and you just click on it, right? And that way you can open the property of any of the file. So here, to open the property, or to open the shortcut menu or pop-up menu, in that case you need to use a right button of the menu. Roller ball is basically used to scroll down. Let's suppose if you are surfing with the Internet Explorer or Google Chrome, and suppose if your web page is too large, and if you want to go towards the bottom, or suppose if you are at the bottom and you want to go to the top, so here you can move, you can scroll your page with the help of that roller ball, okay. Mouse cable, obviously it is a cable which connects a mouse to the computer system. Now there are 2 different type of mouse are there. One is called mechanical mouse, second is optical mouse. Nowadays optical mouse are more common, and most of the time we are getting optical mouse only, but previously, after few years, let's suppose if you will talk about 10 years back, so before 10 years, the optical mouse was not there, or hardly it was available. Most of the time the people were using a mechanical mouse. So here I have shown the photograph of the mechanical mouse. In the case of mechanical mouse, there will be one small ball is there, and whenever you are moving the mouse, at that time the ball gets rotated, and there are 2 sticks are there, which is actually attached with this ball. So if you are moving the mouse, the ball trackball gets moved, and if the trackball gets moved, in that case both the sticks will be moved, and depend on how much that sticks will be moved, the mouse pointer will be moved on the screen, right? So 2 sticks are there. One is for x coordinate, second is for y coordinate. Nowadays what we are doing is we are using optical mouse. So in the case of optical mouse, there is one small, I have given a black mouse photograph. Here at the bottom side of the mouse, you can see there is a laser light is there. So based on laser light, the computer system will track you are moving your mouse into which direction, and based on it your mouse pointer will move, okay. Now similar to the mouse, the another pointing device is there, which is called a trackball, right. So here you do not have to move your entire mouse, but you just have to move what? The ball which is placed on the device, right. So instead of moving the entire device, you just have to rotate the ball, right, trackball which is placed on the device, and based on how you are moving your trackball, based on it the computer system will compute the x and y coordinate, and it will move your mouse pointer. So this is a pointing device which is similar to the mouse, right, but here in the case of mouse we are moving entire device. Here you do not have to move your entire device, you just have to rotate the trackball, right. The user roll the ball with the thumb or fingers or palm of the hand to move a cursor. You can use a pointing stick located in the middle of the keyboard So see, sometimes what happen, there will be keyboard is available, and on the keyboard, you know, you will get every keys. Along with that, there will be small trackball is placed on the keyboard itself, right? So suppose if you want to move the cursor, you don't need to buy a separate trackball device, but you know, your keyboard itself will have a trackball kind of thing. So if you are moving the trackball, your mouse pointer gets changed. Okay. The another device, input device, is called joystick. So basically, you know, those people who are using trackball for the gaming purpose, those people who are playing the game much frequently, they people are much more aware with this type of device. Okay. Joystick is the most commonly used input device for computer games. So if you want to play the game, then this will be a suitable device. The game actions are controlled by varying pressure, speed, direction of a joystick. Additional controls such as buttons and triggers are used to specify the command initiate specific action. The joystick has been the principal flight control. Let's suppose if you are playing the game and in which you are the pilot and you just need to take off the plane, or if you want to land the plane. So for that type of purpose, you know, you can use a joystick. In fact, you know, in the cars, the gear systems are nothing but it's a joystick kind of thing, right? So many aircraft, particular military flight jets, in that this type of trackballs are used. Okay, fine. So you know, in our today's session we have focused on a keyboard and different type of pointing devices like mouse, trackball, joystick, light pen. In fact, light pen is not actually we have covered, we will cover it into the next session, but different type of input devices we have discussed. Now in the next session, few more input devices how the scanner device is functioning, or how can we take the input from the scanner devices, how many different type of scanner devices are there, what is a micer, what is a OCR, that type of thing we will discuss, right? I think this much discussion whatever we have made today is sufficient for our today's session. We'll meet in the next session. Till then, take care and bye bye.